Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
So we got the question of the day. The question of the day, pros and cons to making money a barrier to entry. So the pros and cons, what are the pros and cons of making money a barrier to entry? So I'm presuming that this question is more so like when people say they don't date people who aren't making a certain amount, or you have to make what they make or more to even qualify to court them or talk to them or take them out or get their time and their attention. You gotta make what they make or more, or you have to make said dollar amount, or they would like a person that makes this. So these types of people, what are the pros and cons of having that criteria in place? Okay, let's run through this. Okay, so let's start with the pros. Let's start on the positive side. The pros are, if you're seeking to maintain or elevate yourself to a certain lifestyle, having that criteria in place will make it to where if you do ever have a companion, that puts you where you want to be. Because you're starting with that as a non-negotiable. So if you ever meet someone that meets your criteria and y'all lock in, well, you know, at least that box is checked if it's that important to you. So that would be a pro, is that you get to check that box. Another pro to it. That's all the pros I got. Making money a barrier to entry. No. Another pro could be, there's another reason why you could make money a barrier to entry and it be a pro. It could be a pro in the way of sometimes when you require people to pay a certain amount for whatever it is, whether it be an experience, a meeting, an outing, a consultation, whatever, you know, their willingness to pay whatever that amount is, it does show a certain level of seriousness. Right? It does show a certain level of seriousness. Now, the issue is on the flip side is some people could be spending to try to show seriousness or to be trying to flex, and they're really exercising frivolousness because they don't really have it. That's the flip side of that. So it gets tricky. Now, on the con side of making money a barrier to entry, well, the biggest and most important con to making money a barrier to entry is the amount of people that you wipe out of the equation off rip. The amount of people that you wipe out of the equation off rip. Off rip. That's the biggest issue, because if you say, oh, I only date women that make $200K. What percentage of women make $200K of all ethnicities, $200K and up? You just narrowed it down so small. Then when you finally bump into one or two or three or whatever, they got to like you too. And they got to like you a lot, because those women oftentimes feel that their options are vast. For the women who say, well, you know, I only want to make a date men that make $250 or more. You narrowing down the pool significantly. And then when you run into them, they got to meet some other standards that you have laid out for yourself. And then they have to want you too. Do people get what they're looking for when they make money a barrier to entry? These days, I would say the majority, no, because there's so many people who have done it that it's damn near impossible for all of them to have success with it, or for even the majority of them to have success with it. So excuse me, chat. So no, I don't know. I think that being realistic, having a growth mindset for yourself, and understanding that making a growth mindset a standard in your vetting process, right? I need to find out if this person is truly ambitious in the way of having a work ethic and not just a dream, and as long as that's the case, then whether you guys are financially where whether your relationship is move in ready, metaphorically speaking, or whether you guys have to build, you'll get there. I think depriving yourself of the opportunity looks like you're not checking all the boxes on the pull up. I'm gonna go find somebody who is. I think at that point you plan yourself. But making money a barrier to entry is an interesting topic, and I would love to hear what y'all think about it. What are the pros and cons to making money a barrier to entry when it comes to relationships and dating? A person needs to make this much to even qualify for some consideration. What are the pros and cons of that? I would love to hear what y'all think. Make sure y'all drop a comment. If y'all agree or disagree with some of my takes on this, please feel free to let me know. Let's have a conversation, because we got to crack these codes, man. It's the only way. But yeah, that's the question of the day for today.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart and that heart in the